And welcome to London's top-rated talk show for Wednesday. It is the 18th of April. We are on the air on AM980. Follow us on Twitter at MIMAM980 and get our podcasts on demand through our website at am980.ca or subscribe through iTunes. Question for you off the top this morning. What happens when porn stars, zombies, and the City of London all collide? Well, the answer is a whole lot of controversy. Organizers of last weekend's Shock Stock are crying foul after a scheduled performance at the London Music Hall by porn star Joanna Angel was shut down by city bylaw officers. Now, the city claims to have acted on a complaint about suggested nudity when the event was publicized late last week on the Tucker and Taz show on her sister station FM96. The City of London shut things down, claiming that the venue, the London Music Hall, was not properly licensed for the proposed event. Now, Shock Stock organizers claim nudity never part of the plan, and they feel that the city government acted in a very heavy-handed manner. Now, we've got this story completely covered for you. Orest Katolyk, city manager in charge of bylaw enforcement, is standing by on the line. But first, here's the man responsible for bringing the vampires and porn stars to town. Shock Stock organizer James Belakowski joins us here in studio on MacArthur in the Morning on AM 980. James, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, you're welcome.
Is it your opinion that this was a big brother at work? Did the city act in a very autocratic and heavy-handed way?
Oh, 100%. We started getting shakedown midweek before the event even started. The hall was tipping us off that the city hall was being flooded with emails and calls from people, and and that they were going to be watching us very closely all weekend long.
Well, you mentioned the hall, the London Music Hall. Shooting took place there a week previous, the weekend beforehand. Do you think that the city, the police, were they overreacting as much because of maybe the venue as opposed to the event?
Well, most of the event was like during the day at Centennial Hall, but the concert part where Joanna was going to do her little zombie striptease was to take place at the music hall. And yes, there was some concern about that venue as well because of the bad press, like you said. So, but I think it was more or less just the type of guest that we booked, specifically Joanna Angel, was what was causing the problems.
All right, the city claims you need an entertainment license. Is that what it's called, sorry?
Yeah, it's like a London bylaw that only adult establishments such as like Flesh Gordon's can have events such as this. So if someone's going to striptease, even though they're wearing clothes, it has to take place at a licensed
Right, and you did not have that license, correct?
No, we wouldn't, because so many of these events happen in other venues that we thought as long as she was in a bikini, we would be fine. So as long as she wasn't nude, we weren't breaking any laws. And apparently, even if she was in a bikini, we would have been breaking a law.
So you feel that there was no license needed or required because she was not going to be quote unquote
exactly
naked.
She was just going to dance no differently than what you'd see at a nightclub anywhere in London on Richmond Row.
Do you think that this was a case of morality, or do you think that the city just wanted their cut, that they were missing out on a licensing fee here?
I don't think so much more as that. I just think maybe they didn't think that, even though we brought lots of business into the city from people all over the world, that they just didn't like the way the image of the city was being portrayed, that this is not maybe the type of London that they want people to know, that there are people in London that enjoy these types of films or this type of entertainment, and I think that it was just a better idea to try to squash it entirely as opposed to letting
So you
it happen.
Really believe that this was a morality issue?
100%. The fact that we were getting complaints, earlier in the week, the fact that SWAT team showed up at an event that was an autograph signing. Why is SWAT team at an autograph signing event on the Friday? Why is bylaw enforcement's walking around watching, kids meet Jason from Friday the 13th. I mean, fire marshal checks that have never happened at Centennial Hall happened for Shock Stock. No other event at Centennial Hall ever has the fire marshal. It started, there was many things. I mean, it just seemed like a huge waste of manpower just for a horror movie convention.
Just finally, is this going to dissuade you from having
No, absolutely.
festivals?
I'm not going to lie. I mean, part of the appeal of holding Shock Stock in London is we have this. We're Canada's most conservative city in a lot of people's eyes. But that's why it was the fun of me. Can I pull an event off here? We have the numbers, we have the population. So we brought in these celebrities, and we got great numbers this weekend. We had the best attendance. We blew last year's attendance out of the water. I don't think it had to do with Joanna Angel specifically. She was just one of 12 guests that we had, but the city seemed really concerned with her.
James, appreciate you coming in this morning.
No problem. Thanks.
There is a Shock Stock organizer, James Belakowski. Now with the city side of the controversy, here's bylaw manager Orest Katolyk. He joins us on the line on MacArthur in the Morning on AM 980. Orest, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
We just heard from the organizer of this, Shock Stock, and he calls this, quote, a shakedown by the city and that they acted in a heavy-handed way. Your response?
Well, this wasn't heavy-handed at all. We're just simply doing our job. We received the complaint, and we acted on it.
For the city, was this an issue of morality? This is an event that you just don't maybe want in London, or was it a licensing issue?
No, this isn't a morality issue at all. It's a licensing issue. It's a land use issue. City Council has licensed locations for these types of events, and generally speaking, these are the strip clubs that are licensed in London. They hold these events all the time. They're good to go. But you just can't bring in a porn star, take her to a restaurant, and sell tickets that she's going to do a strip show. I understand the public that paid money to see this porn star strip would be upset. They shouldn't be upset with the city. They should be upset with the promoter, who obviously didn't do his homework.
Well, they claim, those that organize this, that there was never any plan for any nudity whatsoever. So if there was no nudity, is there still a need for one of these quote-unquote entertainment licenses?
Well, the fact is that there was nudity advertised, and that's why the investigation was undertaken.
Well, did the city perhaps act a little too quickly then, that didn't even let the event to take place, that it just basically got shut down, nipped in the bud, that once there was any evidence of nudity, it could then be shut down, but could the argument be made that these people were guilty before being allowed to be innocent?
No, that wasn't the fact at all. We acted on the complaint. We got the complaint about a week and a half ago. We contacted the two venues. They didn't even know that this was occurring, but it was being advertised, and they were very cooperative. Everybody was very cooperative in handling this complaint. But I must focus that we deal with promoters all the time. They bring all kinds of events into the city, and that's good for the city. But they have to do their homework before they choose locations.
Does the Hall of Flame calendar night, Orest, which is a similar event in many ways, we got the people scantily clad on stage dancing. Do they purchase one of these entertainment licenses? Do you know?
It's not that you're purchasing a license. You have to be at a certain location to hold these events. And there's all kinds of fashion shows that occur. And yes, people complain. And the reality is that these are invalid complaints, but they're doing it as a retaliation. They want the city to shut down all events because perhaps their one particular event was shut down. The fact is that this event was with a porn star who was advertised to strip. And we told the promoters there's 5 locations you can go to, and these are set by city council, and they chose not to.
Okay, again, as we just heard from them, though, there was never any plan for nudity. And just to draw a real sharp contrast for us, why is a Hall of Flame calendar night okay at, say, the Western Fair Progress Building, but this is unacceptable, this event at the London Music Hall?
Well, comparing a porn star to some firefighters that are doing something for charity isn't really a comparison at all.
Not valid in your opinion at all, that we've got people on stage who are taking off their clothing, there's some degree of nudity, and that there's a paid crowd or audience there?
We feel there's no comparison at all.
Finally, is there any concern that this sort of action may dissuade other festivals from London and the downtown area, which is obviously always trying to get people, draw people?
Absolutely not. There's certain venues for certain types of festivals, and if somebody wants to bring in a porn star and do their thing, there's 5 venues in the city that are licensed by the city. These are the strip clubs, and they can do that, in accordance with the laws that are set by city council. With all the other festivals, we absolutely have no issues.
Orest Katolyk from the City of London. Orest, thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much. Have a great day.
All right, there you got both sides of the story, and let's get your take here next at 643-2222. Did the City of London act inappropriately by shutting down Shock Stock? 643-2222, out of town at 866-354-TALK. Your calls after break. 643-2222. Did the city act in a heavy-handed and inappropriate manner by shutting down Shock Stock? Again, there was a planned performance by porn star Joanna Angel set for the London Music Hall, but acting on complaints,